Island right here?
Once was used like cemetery. From Perast, people brought here every day. And then was built a Benedictine monastery from 9th century. Now only for priests who retire in summer and for meditation, so not possible to visit. One side, that one on my right, was controlled by Turks, and the other, the opposite, from Venice, from Perast, from Dubai, was 5 hours very good.
Yeah. It's the nearby Franciscan monastery that only the priests are allowed onto anymore. This is the town of Perast, looking back down in the direction of Kotor. But Perast, historically, I forget whether it's Dardanian or what the ethnic basis of these people was, but it was not Venetian. But during the time of the Venetian control, about 300 to 400 year period, when they economically controlled this part of the Mediterranean, these people were responsible for protecting the interests of Venice, because they were great ship owners, and that meant battleships as well as the economic ships. And so they were pretty much left to be autonomous as long as they continued to serve the interest of Venice. That was unique because Venice normally took control of any place. I will walk to the right and then come back all the way to the left here so I can explore the whole town kind of in detail. This is just one of the tour buses, and this bus will just go back and forth, this boat, with these people packed on from their buses. Some lovely homes, I'm sure. Very pretty place to live. I can imagine owning this little home. Tell me, would this be a spectacular place to live or what? Here I could have another unit built, and a unit below that. Keep this as a garden and lawn area. That's either the vent or the pipe for a second floor bathroom and so forth. That will be the bathroom. This is probably a bedroom. No idea what this building is for, or was for. But it also has gun slots, so it's some kind of a fortress, which would make sense given its incredible location at the entrance of this bay. I'm looking at this house right here, this building. It's got a first floor that's already constructed. This is the second. There appears to be a third floor going on. I want to know if you can do that. I want to know if it owns how much of this property right in here it owns. Does it own that grassy area there, or is that a separate piece of property? And if it's separate, is it for sale? I also like to know if that pad down there, which we'll take a closer look, is also part of this property. If not, is it for sale? And then I'd like to know if this is part of that property, and if it's not, is it for sale? And then there's a piece of property here, and I'd like to know if it's for sale. And can you build, I assume you can, build up from here. Here's a place with rooms for rent, although it looks like it's abandoned. Is it abandoned? Is it for sale? Here's the building I'm looking at. I'm wondering if this is part of that building. And if not, can it be a part of that building? Is it for sale? I really want to know the story. Has this building been stopped for some particular reason that makes it more saleable? There's a view inside. I think I already did this. This is all new, but stopped in mid whatever it is. Doesn't look like it's set up for anything. There's a pass-through for something. Looks like they're going to pour a floor, and that's the raceways for the electrical. This looks like it's the kitchen. Maybe washer and dryer and electrical there. Another bathroom here. All one property. Although why this was not built underneath, I don't know, unless it's solid rock there for some reason. See, there's a lot of damage here after they've done the good stuff. Also, this building here, what's its story now? Roadway goes by another church. There's a small alley. And this roadway, somehow, there's that building underneath the property I was standing on. They're coming into view as the property I was standing on. I want to see what that looks like below me. This building is currently being redone on the outside. Or at least it looks like it is. So this whole section here could be owned by one person, one family, one whatever. All this could be an infrastructure to support the ownership of all of this in here. This is the area underneath that property. Is it a separate piece? Just peeking between these two buildings, I can see the building I've been looking at. Alexander said there used to be 20 Christian churches here. Here's one more. There's another. My bet is that that hulk of a building was another. I don't know what most of this means, or any of it, but it's all down this way. I've come now to the southern part of Perast, and I'm now going to work my way north to the far end, including where I was earlier. Don't know what this cord is for. It's curious. Bocce ball wood. There's the scoreboards. Normally this would be a very well maintained court, and you would roll your balls from one end to the other. Nice little park here. Restoration. What exactly, I don't know. Man getting ready to fish us. Another church tucked in at the back here. Another abandoned building. Might have been just in one of the early captain's homes. Doesn't look church-like, but it is massive-like. Sobi means room, so it means rooms down here for rent. This way, well, indicate an estate for sale. Looks like 4 buildings. What may be another captain's home. It looks like it would have that pump at some time. Don't know whether that says up there 1691. or not. It could. These plaques may indicate survey markers. There's the hulk of the building I saw earlier. Fire department, that's interesting. Interesting, somebody had a boathouse created underneath their property and somehow managed to get away with putting it. But apartments for rent in here. Another unused abandoned building. Apartment for rent here is 2 rooms, I think, €40 per night. It's interesting that the pretty part of this church has been buried in that architecture that was added on at a later point in time. Just peeking between these 2 buildings, I can see the building I've been looking at. So devoid of class as to build a piece of crap like that building in the midst of this little town. Why'd they let them? Another church, and I assume that that cross behind it is part of this church, which has certainly been redone. But it may be, no, I actually think it's a separate church. It may just be that hulk of a church behind. And there, the winged St. Mark icon. There's another church with a much prettier steeple and tower. Here's another small church tucked in here. Here's a museum and one of the important shipping. Here comes one of the large cruise ships to inundate Kotor for a few hours, days, which would make Perast a much more enjoyable place to live because they can't accommodate boats like that, although they can come up here in smaller numbers and visit. Simply don't understand how you call that being a traveler and traveling. All you can call it is cruising as a unique form. Parking attendants use these vehicles to whip up and down this parking lot as people drive in.